Good morning. This Rashad Mitchell comes to you live from my YouTube channel. So I continue on my part series, the week that was college football history review, the 1960 college football season. I'll be talking about the new season now. Go over the overview of the 1960 college football season, and go over week one, and get into like the milestones, and then we have long winning streaks and coaching changes in the preseason AP poll. So the 1960 college football season was the year of new career opportunities, Oklahoma's dethronement, and a new frontier at the Orange Bowl. College football entered a new decade of profound change brought on by strong competition from professional football. The graduating senior class of spring 1960, which finished its eligibility during the 1959 college football season, already was enjoying the newfound career prosperity that was offered by the American Football League, which, as a competitor of the NFL, tremendously enhanced the bargaining positions of players. Until the birth of the 8-team AFL, college players interested in playing in the professional ranks rarely had options other than the well-established and thriving, by the late 1950s at least, 12-team National Football League. A college player might not like his offer from the NFL, which by NFL rule was restricted to one team. Only one team, the organization, holding the players' draft rights, could bargain with. Baseball, for example, had no such restriction until the late 1960s, which allowed a handful of teams, notably the New York Yankees and Brooklyn Los Angeles Dodgers, to corner big chunks of talent. The NFL draft brought competitive balance, but by its nature, the draft ended any hope of a player might harbor of a free economy. His alternative was the Canadian Football League, which for many American collegians was unattractive. But the new AFL grew nicely after a few rough but colorful moments in the first 3 years. It was one small step in pro football's profound growth. So in only 5 or 6 years, the pros had enjoyed a spike in stadium attendance and NFL parks in the mid-50s. Television contract with CBS that earned national exposure started in 1956. In an exciting 1958 championship game, the first overtime contest ever that attracted many new fans so big time pro football already having run many of the big city collegiate programs out of business was on the verge of becoming America's most popular sport. While pro football created many new postgraduate jobs, it also posed a serious threat not only to live gate but also to televised college games. The pros had a brilliant TV formula created by NFL czar Bert Bell and nurtured by his successor, Pete Rozelle, in the 1960s and beyond. Plus, the expanding pro game placed teams in traditional collegiate strongholds of Boston, Dallas, Houston, Minneapolis, St. Paul, soon to follow with Kansas City, Miami, Cincinnati, Atlanta, and San Diego. Defending national champion holder Syracuse opened the 1960 season as the top-rated team, but rarely approached the domination it enjoyed in 1959 because the Orangemen's 16-game winning streak was ended in late October by a Pittsburgh team that featured future Chicago Bears coach Mike Ditka as its firebrand captain, and it took on its usual juggernaut schedule. A great pit record was often hopeless during these days, but overconfident and unsuspecting foes were often badly mauled by the toughest nails Panthers. The era ended in the Big Eight as Oklahoma was dethroned, and then some. After a 14-year run as conference champion, stepping up to command attention were Missouri, Kansas, Iowa State, and Colorado. Missouri, coached by Dan Devine, owned a ferocious defense led by N. Daniel LaRose that averaged 4.6 points against its first 8 vanquished foes. The Tigers achieved the school's first number 1 ranking when it beat Oklahoma 41-19 on November 12th, and proud businesses and radio stations in Columbia, Missouri started answering their phones with "We're number 1." But an undefeated year unraveled for the Missouri team when Kansas threw a 9-man front at the Tiger running attack and easily whipped them 23-7 to close the regular season. But the controversial Bert Cohen, a transfer halfback from Texas Christian, played in the Missouri game in defiance of orders from the Big Eight Conference. The Jayhawks were forced to forfeit the conference title and late season wins over Colorado and Missouri. This put Mizzou back in first place in the Big Eight, and they headed to Miami for the Orange Bowl on January 2nd, 1961. The Missouri Tigers righted themselves in time for the Orange Bowl, where their defense thoroughly contained Heisman Trophy winner Joe Bellino of Navy before 72,212 fans, including President-elect John F. Kennedy, a World War II naval officer and hero, who saved his crew of PT Boat 109. It was a highly upbeat atmosphere with Kennedy in attendance, although Kennedy's election win was a narrow and controversial one over Vice President Richard Nixon. The country was in an optimistic mood. The youthful president-elect represented every bit of the nation's spark. Life magazine ran a series of photos of Kennedy during his time as a spectator in the Orange Bowl grandstands. A few weeks after New Year's, Kennedy launched his New Frontier administration, calling Americans in his famous inaugural speech, "Ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country." Early in the 1960 football season, Navy sailed into Seattle and upset number 3 Washington by a single point. Washington soon lost its leader, quarterback Bobster Red, to a broken shoulder and struggled to several unimpressive wins before locking up his second straight Rose Bowl appearance. The Huskies' bowl opponent was Minnesota, a huge but slow team that fashioned an improbable worst to first Big Ten conference turnaround. The Rovers had finished in the Big Ten cellar in 1959, but as an unbeaten third-ranked team in 1960, they trounced number 1 Iowa 27-10 on November 5th to gain the regular season AP National Championship, despite a 23-14 surprise that came a week earlier, courtesy of upset specialist Purdue.